This episode is brought to you by Smart Food, the sweet, salty snack you need this holiday season. Air pop popcorn, tossed in delicious white cheddar cheese, or mixed with sweet caramel and cheddar. It's the perfect snack for your smart holiday party. Learn more at smartfood.com.
Should we? I think it goes without saying, but are you going to put a header on here that there's going to be massive spoilers?
I'll record a thing. Actually,
dude, if somebody listened and heard a spoiling complaint, I'd be like, you need to figure out how fucking media works these days.
You're now listening to The Bradshaw Boys, a podcast where three relatively grown men binge the iconic HBO series Sex and the City. So dust off those DVDs and grab yourself a white wine or even a Cosmopolitan and settle in. Take it away, boys.
welcome to the Bradshaw Boys, a podcast where three guys watch Sex and the City. And just like that, we're watching And Just Like That. I'm Cory Cavin.
I'm Just Like That. I'm Kevin James Doyle.
My name is Jon Sieber. That was quite the mouthful.
That was quite the mouthful.
You didn't even rehearse that. That was just straight from the hip.
We decided it, and then we just went right in.
Yeah,
That's what we're doing.
I'm very impressed. If Kevin or I would have attempted that, it would have been really, really poor.
I'm an ad man. I just read ad copy.
We're here.
We're here.
It's happening.
I thought about this today. I was like, this is from when we started the original podcast, which is the same podcast. When we started the original show, what a just wild ride to think that we would be here the night that we're about to watch the new show.
Also that there's a lot of people that our Instagram has just been blowing up. People are like, what are your thoughts?
And it's we don't know yet. We haven't seen.
We don't know.
I was on my way over here and I got a text from someone saying, everyone is asking me what you three think of the new show.
Oh my gosh.
Now listen, we're in an interesting position that I felt the responsibility of today.
Go ahead.
Because I got nervous. And I haven't been nervous doing the podcast for a long time.
You've been nervous for anything ever in a long time. This is actually your first time experiencing nerve.
Yeah,
usually you're just all confidence all the time.
Yeah, nerves imply that you give a shit,
yeah.
You know? But we've had a responsibility to our listeners to give the benefit of the doubt to the past, to what has been created.
Right.
And I just realized today that I was like, I need to give the unvarnished opinion and truth of how I feel about the show.
Ooh.
that is different from what it was like to watch Sex and the City.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like, To Kill a Mockingbird came out, and it's like,
the new show? The new one?
No, the new one came out, which was Go Set a Watchman, and
Are you talking about the Broadway show, To Kill a Mockingbird?
No, I'm talking about the book.
You're talking about Harper Lee.
Yeah, and it was a cash grab, and it was like, but also it's Harper Lee. It's also this, and it's like that's what this basically is. It's like, we don't know what it is. We don't know if it's good, if it's bad. We don't know if it's a cash grab that does well or to grow HBO Max. And I was like, I just won't be able to.
I do find it funny that people are asking, like, what do you guys think of it? What's your opinion? It's going to be pretty apparent. We're going to latch on to a couple background characters that don't mean anything.
Yeah.
And then we're going to cluelessly mansplain the rest of the plot and miss 97% of what's actually happening.
Yeah, you guys have heard the podcast.
Yeah, you've heard the podcast before.
Yeah.
You know
it's
what's
not
gonna
novel.
happen.
Yeah, they're like, are you going to address any of the problematic issues with the episode? No, there was a guy with a weird nose and an odd haircut in the back of entire season one, and we kind of honed in on him.
We kind of just
gave him a nickname, talked about probably what his sex life is actually like, and then an hour was up, and that was it.
Oh, there was
listening.
there was a long time where we talked about different Little Debbie snacks that had nothing to do with the show.
Yeah,
we did a strong 15 minutes on that one.
And then we looked at our watches. We were like, I mean, most of this is us talking about zebra cakes, but I don't know. We have other jobs.
I mean, yeah, we can't really dive too deep.
Can you guys stop ranking snacks?
You guys should have done a snacks podcast,
dude.
Snacks in the City. Man, we really missed that. We should have done that.
What's up, YouTube?
And just like snacks.
Dippy Dippy.
That's
There
what
we
we have
go.
to do. That's what
Chomp,
we have to do
chomp.
after. This is the lay of the land.
Yeah.
We had a live show on Monday that was fucking awesome.
It was
It was
so good.
great.
It was
so much fun.
It was packed.
Felt
there
good
was
to see people.
So
Yeah.
it felt good to see people, and there was like a lot of people that started listening to the podcast during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We met some fans, which is great.
Super good.
Didn't even know that you all were listening to this thing. I thought it was just,
Yeah.
Kevin?
I avoid looking at the numbers because Cory says it's in the thousands, but I'm just like, I don't believe it. So, and then people are like, I'm in Finland. When are you going to do a live show in Finland? I was like, I don't know. Are you going to get 100 people there? But yeah, we did the live show, and then we also went to Candace Bushnell's live. It's been Sex in the City week.
It
It's
has
been
been
crazy.
Sex and the
I
City.
talked to a friend today, and he was like, "This is like your Super Bowl, right?"
Absolutely.
I was like, "Yeah, we went to Candace Bushnell's show. We had our show. Tonight's the big night. Last night was the premiere, so we were like posting Instagram photos of the red carpet. Like, this is Sex in the City week. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I
I
mean, at what point do we do? We've done predictions. We did a ton of predictions on our live show, but it seems so much more real.
Yeah.
That we are merely 8 minutes away from. We're on a level playing field for the first time ever with
I know.
Sex and the City fans. Every single time we watch an episode and we mention something, we get an email being like, "Actually,
Yeah.
it's Judith Lieber,"
Yeah.
and we're like, "Okay, okay."
Now we get to mess things
Yeah.
up before anyone else
Before
even
people
sees.
know that we're
Right.
actually messing it up.
People are going to take our wrong information, and that's going to inform their real-time opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think we should. I do think we should put out some like fake press releases.
Oh, yeah, you talked about this.
I just
What,
think
like,
it'd be.
what would they? What would we
I don't know,
do?
you just troll our way into the news. Watch how bad. Watch how
Isn't
bad.
that just the news?
Yeah, exactly. Just troll you. Like, just show how bad some of those people are at their job. They're just copy
Dude,
and paste
we have
stuff.
to.
Yeah, I mean that would be fun, but I don't know. I guess maybe it's mean. Is it mean? I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
We'll see if I get any ideas.
See if it picks up.
Yeah.
See if it gets some traction.
All right. So here's my first question: are we going to start with the classic theme song, or is it going to be a new theme
I
song?
thought of that.
I think it's got to be a
It's
new theme song. New theme song.
Is she
And-
going to get splashed with water? Is there going to be is it going to be anything? Any of it is it going to be the same? Like what? I don't know. It's just so new music.
Wow. There's new music because it's a new show. It's also kind of. I think that it will. I think from the beginning the show's going to have a little more gravitas
Yeah.
because, and I wonder if that'll be reflected in the theme
You
song.
couldn't help but wonder.
I couldn't help but wonder that.
I couldn't help but wonder if the gravitas will be reflected in the theme song.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna have, you know how like you see a movie, particularly from the like early to mid 2000s, that has like some sort of kind of club theme, like music, like ding, 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 ding,
Yeah.
ding, and it's just high energy, and you're seeing everyone at their jobs, and the city's like on a 10. I feel like it's gonna have strong vibes of that, which are Sex and the City series vibes, but I feel like it's gonna come out hard out of the gate.
When you said imagine a movie in the early 2000s, for some reason I just imagined Gladiator.
Yeah.
And I imagined Carrie like rustling her hand through some wheat fields as the hello, the Gladiator theme
Yeah,
song
when
is
he
playing.
who does he see? Who's the other gladiator?
He sees his like wife and kids.
Isn't there another guy that he sees that's another gladiator?
No, he sees his wife and kids.
Okay.
Like we're
Maybe I'm thinking of the end of City of Angels where he goes and swims in the waves and then he sees the other angel. Maybe that's what it is.
What if instead of Sex and the City 2 or 1 where it's like they try and recorrect things a little bit by being like, look, there's a black character. And then it's like, that's not a fully formed black character. Like, you could have done better with that. What if they just go whole hog and like the opening scene is Charlotte just calling the cops on a black guy at a restaurant?
Oh no!
And just going to jail, and everyone she just cancels it, and she just like loses everything, and it's her just being like,
It's a new doorman at her building, and she's like, "What are you doing here?
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
Oh my god!
What are you doing here?" And
Oh.
it's just her holding her phone in front of the camera, recording it.
and her just crying. She goes home to Harry. She's like, he needs to be arrested. And it's just like, oh man, that would just be hilarious.
And just like that, we lost all our listeners.
No, we're not saying we hope that happens.
No,
We're
but
not
it
saying
would
we
be.
hope
It would
that
be
happens.
very.
We just think
I'll say
that
this.
based in reality, that's probably the most realistic thing.
And I
not
feel
that
like
they
Charlotte
actually
is-
learned something, but it's like she's a
Charlotte just
Republican
goes
on the Upper East
full
Side.
Karen.
Charlotte's the most. Charlotte is the strongest character that would go full Karen. She is absolutely.
It just starts.
And Harry would be really supportive, but internally would just be like, "God, what are you doing,
It just
Char?"
the first shot is her just refusing to wear a mask going into Trader Joe's, causing a scene.
Oh my gosh!
I am a sovereign person. A sovereign person.
This is my body. We're like, man, this show is fucking wild.
Do you think Charlotte's still a Republican?
No.
No.
She's definitely not.
No.
Because a Republican, like when here we were becoming a political podcast. I'll stop. But Republican back then means something different than it does now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. But I do, it is just funny not knowing what we're about to see.
I know.
And I do think from the general vibe, which I think is great, but from the general vibe of the era, I don't know any spoilers, but the general vibe that I get is that it's not a train wreck. So
No.
Really?
I texted Kevin today, but we were getting so many messages. I put up a thing on our Instagram stories that was like, we're going to be watching this tonight. We're going to do a little watch party. I was like, please no spoilers. And then I saw people like responding to that story, which I thought they were like, have fun. And I started seeing things come through. They were like, oh my gosh, I just watched. I love this part. And I immediately,
Why
because people are excited and they don't read. But like, I immediately threw my phone and I was like, no,
I've seen lots of crying emojis, and
I've seen a lot of crying
and I
emojis
think-
too.
do you think that's because of Stanford?
no, I think
No.
I think multiple things. I think it's going to be dedicated to Stanford.
Yep.
I think something
Willie
big
Garson, of
happens.
course.
Yeah. I think something big happens, and then I also think that some people are like, "Oh my gosh, I'm crying because this day's finally here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but I do think that
I'm very excited. I was riding a Revel over here, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was having like palpitations in my
Palpitating.
chest. I was very, very excited.
Do you think there will be a cold open before the theme song? Do you think they're going to have some sort of like shot of the city?
Yeah,
then
cold
Carrie
open.
walks it. Like, there's got to be a cold open. I bet.
Yeah, cold open. They got to pull on those heartstrings before, you know what I mean? Like that's basically. I don't know whether the show's going to be good or bad, but you got to get our hearts racing before they enter. Like before you start the race. That's like the warm up. That it's like we don't know if this is going to be good, but you have 2 minutes where you can get us in to just be excited.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
You know what I just thought though is like there's always speculation from so many people and like we've thought about it whether it's going to be good, but the fact that they had the second movie and then even Michael Patrick King has been like, yeah, there were some missteps. Like I think they kind of already had like a massive like trip and fall to where they knew they were like, we can't screw this up.
Totally.
And what happens when they get knocked down?
They get up again.
They get up again.
They
They're
take a whiskey
Chumbawamba.
drink. They take a cider drink.
Yeah.
They take a lager drink.
Carrie
Drink a
Wumba.
Cosmo drink.
They drink a Cosmo drink.
No, I'm excited.
Should we just do it?
Yeah,
Should we watch this thing?
I think we should, and I think that we got to go back to the original ethos. We got so good at this, we didn't need to, but I know for me personally, I'm gonna have to get out my old notebook.
Ooh, but we won't. We probably won't have a Katie voiceover.
No, we won't have a Katie voiceover.
Wow, we won't.
Because we're going to we care about our fans. We're gonna get this out to you
Tonight.
like the quickest turnover we've ever had.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Cory, I got a question.
Tell me.
Do you ever feel like Carrie Bradshaw and a deadline? You're stressed. You're not sure what to do.
Oh my gosh.
You're
All
a
the
little
time.
bit agitated. I got a solution for you,
and
actually.
What is it?
You know me. I'm a gamer. Angry
You were
Birds
a huge gamer.
Journey. Angry Birds.
Oh my gosh.
The game on the app. And then Journey,
Yep.
like the band. Don't stop believing. New Angry Birds game.
Dude, I love Angry Birds. I love pulling back the bird and shooting it and destroying things. It's so much fun. It's like, I like to imagine that I'm pulling the bird back and shooting it through the gap in Richard's teeth and just hitting him in the back of the throat. And I'm doing it all for Samantha.
All new Angry Birds Journey, full of fun puzzles, challenging levels, and delightful destruction. It's available for free in the app and Play Store. Trust me, this is a 5 Cosmo experience. Angry Birds Journey mobile puzzle game is going to bring you hours of fun.
Huge 5 Cosmo experience. Go get it for free. Google Play Store and the App Store.
This episode is brought to you by Timberland. The Timberland boot was built to keep you warm, keep you dry. Then they passed it on for you to build something. You took it from Buffalo and Philly to Chi-Town and New York, from London to Paris, all the way to Shanghai, around the block and around the world. They built a boot. You made it an icon. Timberland. Build forward. Share your Timberland story and tag them at Timberland.
All right.
And just like that,
And just like that, we're watching the new series.
we'll be back.
Wait.
Later, taters.
After discussing how to handle change, Carrie is challenged to be sexually open on Shay's podcast. Miranda has a disastrous first day of school, and Charlotte tries to impress a fellow mom. And then, another big change no one saw coming. And now, back to the boys.
And just like that, we're back. Thank
Hey,
you, Katie. We ended up getting
Psych.
Katie read.
We got a Katie read after
Yeah.
all.
And it sounded like, what an amazing mom that she can still contribute to our podcast while she's at home.
Yeah.
You know? I could tell. I mean, it just sounded like she had like a kind of a lower volume energy that I feel like was respectful of Mickey's sleep. And also a little more sultry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mickey's sound machine, white noise machine was blasting.
Yeah.
It was our first night of sleep training too. So shout out to Katie for letting me be here, recording all that,
That's just
watching her favorite show.
watching your favorite show without her.
How the tables have turned. That's
Sorry.
a testament of like where we started this podcast. That now it's like you're like, well, we're sleep training
Yeah,
Mickey.
we were supposed to do 2 podcasts tonight, but I'm like, I got early
know.
morning tomorrow, boys.
This podcast is brought to you by In Vivo Wine by Sarah Jessica Parker.
SJP.
Sipping some now.
We'll try it.
Now in rosé flavor.
Should we? I think it goes without saying, but are you going to put a header on here that there's going to be massive spoilers? Obviously,
I'll record
in
a
the- in
thing.
the episode?
Actually, maybe I'll just clip out.
No,
us
let's just
saying
have this.
right now. We'll
This
just
is
put
it.
this. This well, we're gonna put it at the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
though, so people.
But there are no
people. Well, they
yeah,
would.
but we're going to let people know before they watch.
Okay.
Yeah. That way, there's not a.
This is a little sneak peek into a Bradshaw Boys business meeting right
That's
here.
right.
Dude, if somebody listened and heard a spoiling complaint, I'd be like, you need to figure out how fucking media works these days.
I
Yeah.
mean, that is absolutely true.
I'm
because
not.
today-
I don't think we should waste a single moment putting anything at the beginning.
There's going to be spoilers.
Let's talk about how hard they ripped apart podcasts.
Oh man. Well,
Ooh.
I have a thought real quick, John. For old
Yeah.
time's sake, do you think you could give a rundown,
Of scene by scene what happened.
or maybe just
I
maybe
think I could.
maybe just of an overview, and we can help
I
out.
would miss some scenes.
Hang on
but
one second.
Hold on,
Okay.
Kevin's got something.
Still haven't listened to it, have you? Carrie, I love you to death, but I drop a line at podcasts.
Miranda draws the line at
Draws the line at
podcast.
podcast.
She hasn't rated. She has not reviewed.
Nope.
I'll go ahead and say this, just because we're bad at doing it. We're about to get into this, but if you're a longtime Bradshaw Boys listener, or if you're a brand new one because of it, just like that, rate and review and subscribe and follow on Spotify.
Don't draw the line at podcast.
Don't draw the line of podcast. Don't be. Listen, maybe
Come on
we
in,
should
the
all be
water's
Miranda's,
warm.
but not in the way of podcasts. We shouldn't all be Miranda's.
No.
No, dude, be more than a Miranda. Go follow the Patreon because we still got eps going up on that all the time, and we got these ones. All right,
All right, John.
Bradshaw
The
Boys
episode
business. John.
starts with the 3 ladies at some sort of fancy brunch in the city. First joke, I believe, was about COVID. Didn't see that coming.
Yep.
We were curious as to whether or not they'd even address it. They discuss Samantha being gone right away, and Charlotte meets her friend, Lisa.
I think it was LTC. LTC? LTW?
LTW. Lisa.
LTW.
And we find out that Lily, Charlotte's daughter, has a recital for piano. Miranda is starting her first day at school, getting a master's in humanities at Columbia, I believe.
Yeah.
And
human rights.
and one of those two, and human rights. And Carrie is recording a podcast. Miranda walks her over to her podcast, and then Miranda goes to her first day of class, where we get into a very... How would you describe that scene? I'm going to limit the amount of time and let you talk about that scene, but I'd like a brief description of Miranda.
Very brief, because we'll go back
her first day
into
of
it.
class.
We'll go back into it. Just very brief.
Miranda just did what the more innocent version of what we said Charlotte would do before the podcast. She just walked up to
Assigns a gender right away.
yeah, and then was just like, wow, can I touch your hair? It's she doesn't do that, but you know.
Essentially, she does that. Yeah, totally.
She even talks about it. She's like, if someone had phones, I would have become a meme. And
Yeah.
it's like, absolutely.
Yeah.
But we will talk about that. Carrie goes on a podcast. Che, I believe, is the host.
Diaz.
Che Diaz. And who's the guy? The guy's from Tiger Belly, right?
Bobby Lee.
Bobby Lee.
Comedian. Very funny comedian.
Very funny. And it's a podcast about sexuality, and they're a little bit disgruntled. Che Diaz is a little bit disgruntled that Carrie just giggles and kind of clams up when they get overtly raunchy and sexual. So she needs to step her pussy up. She goes home, talks to Big about masturbation. Great masturbation Big scene.
I mean, an all-time great Big scene.
So good.
I was over the moon with that. I thought it was so funny and
It was awesome.
Noth on.
Then we go to the recital, and recital's great. It's like all the characters coming out. Got a little emotional when Stanford came out of the car. You have Anthony. That's Mario Cantone's character name, right?
Yeah, Anthony Martista. Yeah.
You got Steve with hearing aids.
What?
Yeah.
What?
It's Steve. What? Talk? What'd you say?
I actually really love the bit that they got going with Steve.
The hearing aids bit.
And Charlotte's rival, who someone calls Anthony calls her Black Charlotte.
Calls her Black Charlotte.
Her son is just Garbo at the piano, and Lily just crushes it.
Just destroys.
And while Lily is playing a very intense sonata, Big has a heart attack. Drops his phone in the water. Can't call for help. And Carrie comes home, and Big is still alive. Sees her, and then passes away in Carrie's arms with the shower water drenching her wedding shoes. It was shocking.
Yeah.
It was
shocking, emotional.
Yep.
It was shocking. It was emotional. It was. I feel like the little like Marvel scene at the end after the credits was, I don't know, you either thought it was funny or you didn't, but it's when Sarah Jessica Parker Carrie is just like, I wanted to see him masturbate. But
Oh my gosh.
we watched the whole thing. A lot of you may have turned
the
that off.
Marvel scene. I thought you said marble scene.
I said marble too.
I was like,
No,
what's
Marvel,
what's a
like,
marble
like
scene?
after the credits, there's like a little,
Yeah, it's her talking to Thanos.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just
Wearing
Carrie.
the Infinity Gauntlet, being like, I wish you would have jerked off while wearing this.
Yeah, and then it's like inappropriate, but it's also classic like Carrie Bradshaw humor. She takes his hand and like gestures him doing it, and she's going.
She's got to step up that pussy.
And then
She's like, this would go over so well on the podcast. It's so inappropriate.
And then there's just hologram Big standing over her, just doing dancing eyebrows, going absolutely.
But they also I like they talked about this like record thing that they got going on.
Yeah, their nightly record.
Since the lockdown, which is cool because I think like couples or even single people found like traditions that they did, and I think they were working their way through all of the records that they owned, and they were in the cars, and it was like a really sweet
that was
sweet
really,
moment.
Yeah.
The okay, we got to find a way to like structure we're going to talk about, but like
Kevin, do you want to start your Miranda thoughts?
This is
your Miranda?
This is what
hey, we used to do a Steve talk. Now we're going to do a Miranda.
We're gonna do Miranda.
This is nothing. I think we can get it out of the way because I think that people will have the natural reaction that I'm not saying mine's right or wrong. It's broader than just Sex in the City, and without using the word like woke, but that's kind of what you have to use. But it's like it doesn't play when you try to do that. It's not complementary to. It doesn't work story wise, and it doesn't work respectful to characters. So I think that whenever that happens and is like laid on top, it's like a filter laid on top that is not natural writing. So
talk to me a little bit about not respectful to the characters.
I think that if you really want to get down to what good storytelling would be, it can't be. It has to come from like a better place than trying to make up for past wrongs. So this is kind of no different. I did feel like the Miranda scene and the podcast were kind of the equivalent of Sex in the City too, of being like, look, we had these Muslim women and we showed their voice at the end, but it's still just like, I mean, first of all, that podcast sucks. No one listens to it. Because
speaking on behalf of a podcast that sucks,
but you know what I mean. Like,
well, that podcast was definitely
it's not a podcast. It's a radio show.
It's like their version of like Howard Stern.
Yeah,
kind
dude,
of, but not even Stern.
We need to get you a button that just says "woke alert."
Oh my gosh, dude! If we get a woke alert button, woke moment,
and then trying to create authenticity out of it. It's like that's not a podcast. That's radio. It's just called a podcast because. And it's hard to create like real authenticity. And she's like, you got to be dirtier. And it's like,
let me take a hit of my weed in the elevator.
Okay, that was the other thing because we made it's on our Instagram, but we made and we use it at our live show. But we made and just like that bingo, and it hit. I'd say the things that are like the most standout things it hit. And
I think
like,
we hit every single one.
I mean, we might have. We'll read through in a sec. But the weed moment, though, just the moments like that, and this I think goes differently, but a little bit to what you're saying about the Miranda moment, like the weed thing. I used to work with a dude years ago that smoked while we were at work before New York City was like weedified. Mm-hmm. He never got in the elevator and put out a lighter and lit up a bowl. He had a weed pen.
I know.
Like every single human does.
That's where
that was the thing where I was like, I get that it's for comedy, that it's like, no, I'm going to light up, but it's like, normal people don't like. No one would light a cigarette in an elevator. No. Actually, lighting a cigarette would have played better because it's like it would have been better if she just pulled out a huge weed vape and then blew the smoke in Carrie's face. Like so that there's a couple overreach things like that.
I'm gonna read some of these bingo lines and just like I'm gonna read only the ones that the show hit. We made this bingo card for the entire series.
Yes.
Would you agree with me though that a first draft of us riffing before this would be like, haha, Miranda does like the awkward gender and race thing.
Yeah, we did that with Charlotte.
I was just hopefully that storyline goes I think to a place.
And I thought there was some cleverness there
with
Miranda and her hair. Like Miranda was already in her head about her hair, and then they played that her professor as her hair. And I thought it was like the bit of her sitting in the professor's seat and then telling the professor, you know, she's the old person in the class, which is a funny bit, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then like the mumbling ramble that she did of trying to like slowly back out was
it's the kind of
not
thing,
Miranda.
Yeah, I agree. It's not Miranda, and I think in instances like that, it's the thing where you already know what's going to happen and you're not surprised. You're like, it's like there's always a thing where you're like, oh, I really want to see this happen. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, yes, we got that. But that wasn't that. That was like, oh, I know exactly what's going to happen here. And yet she's doing it. But it's like, it would have been almost funnier. Well, go ahead.
I also think Miranda is the only character that you could have really done that with.
I agree.
And here's why, because Carrie is too like cool and like she would have been able to smooth over that situation too easily. Mm-hmm. And Charlotte, I think, would have slid into the dark side of it, like we talked about before the pad. Like totally. Seriously, if Charlotte made that mistake, I think she would not have been able to backtrack. I think Charlotte would have just like in an attempt to solve it would have offended her more and more, and eventually like gone full Karen without even knowing it. And I think Miranda is the only character that you can have that scene happen to.
And I think it kind of, even though I wasn't totally on board with it, it did kind of work when they're later on in the subway, and then she's like, I watched the travel ban happen, and then I wanted to do this, and then I wanted to do this, and wearing a pink pussy hat wasn't enough. Like, that's where Miranda is the one who can do it, because it's like she is the most active one, so it's acting against her type to Bumble, and that, so it works for her character. But I agree, the moment was kind of like,
I think we'll see where the series goes. I think so far the hair thing with Miranda is really good.
Yeah.
But the Miranda thing is going to become her.
I think her not being a corporate lawyer, saying like, I can't just wear a pink pussy hat, I need to go do something for the world, is like one of the first biggest missteps in this, because it's all the reasons why people like Miranda and why she's become like this icon is because she like went after like her job, and now she's basically, they're like correcting her job because corporate lawyers aren't respected people anymore. You have to like, and I think that's the biggest, I think that's kind of a betrayal of Miranda in a way that I think like the scene with the professor, like they're making her out to be, I don't know. I just don't like it, and
that's fine.
Devil's advocate moment. We need more theme song sound effects. We need like a devil's advocate
Woke moment.
woke moment. But devil's advocate question to that: do you think
also Bobby Lee seemed like a comedian and Sarah Ramirez did not?
Oh, absolutely.
And that's just that's such an obvious misstep that.
Well, because Sarah. But then this is another thing.
Banter is hard, people.
Yeah, Devin and I did it on stage for 4 years.
She was an actress. She was not a comedian.
Oh, you mean as the people playing the people? Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. I think some of that, we're a little all over the place right now, but some of that was actor versus comedian in terms of people that are playing it, and some of that was scripting. Because I will say the scripting for Sarah Ramirez was just like, it wasn't even written. It was written like, this will be funny. Just say it funny, but like. It was literally just written to be like, here is a lot of clunky language, which is the thing on. So this brings us the bingo card.
All right, so the bingo card. I'm gonna just go through these. These are literally these are our bingo cards, and you can see it on our Instagram. COVID mention. First thing that they said.
First thing out of the gate.
Brady masturbating. Literally happened right away with Miranda saying, I stepped on his semen before coffee.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
that's a fun
Brady
storyline.
sex.
That's a fun storyline.
It is a fun storyline. And also at our live show, we corrected that because we read these at our live show.
Oh, that's right. We did.
We corrected it, and we realized how old he was going to be. And we're like, it's going to be weird if his 23-year-old's always like jerking off. So we corrected it. So that's two for
Brady
two.
sex.
Steve mentions b-ball. We haven't yet.
He hasn't mentioned basketball.
He will.
But dude, his hearing aids are so good.
What?
What'd you say?
Vaping.
I don't think we got a vape.
Okay.
We got a well,
Mr. Big dancing eyebrows. We didn't get dancing eyebrows, but he put up his hand and he went, ooh.
Yes. We got some eyebrow raises. We didn't get dancing eyebrows.
I think we can't totally give it to ourselves.
You know what? I will say I was gonna put Mr. Big dancing eyebrows or Toodle Fingers, and I wish I would have. Yes, the day right
that
before.
Counts
right
Toodle
before,
Fingers counts.
I was gonna put it as we were on our way to the live show.
Aiden uses the food-based nickname. I haven't seen Aiden yet. Egregious Manhattan lunch. Check.
Out of the gates.
Out the gate.
Someone cheats. I mean, Anthony's scrolling Hot Boys for his sourdough delivery business.
Close.
Doesn't count. Zoom chat and chew. I don't think that one's happening.
Yeah, because COVID's over.
No one's
even masking on the subway.
You're right. No one wore a mask on the subway.
But they mentioned they kept mentioning like, oh, back when into the pandemic. But yeah, COVID's done.
Yeah.
Carrie wears a flower. Check. Riding the subway. Check.
Yeah.
Clunky gender convo on a podcast.
Just triple check.
And you know what? We were nervous about that.
Yeah.
And she just comes out. She's like, so there's more than man and there's more than woman.
And now
let's talk about it.
Woke moment.
Let's hear from
that
you.
That literally could have been the free square.
Oh, I mean, it could have been. There's a part where she talks about, she introduces Bobby Lee as the cisgender white guy, or cisgender male, and then Sarah Jessica Parker is the cisgender white female, and then she was like, but I'm not one of those other boring genders.
Yeah.
Like she was like and then there's the whole Yankee.
I like it.
And there was the whole Yankee Stadium thing.
I
The
like
Yankee Stadium, the
thing. It
Yankee
was
Stadium
fun.
thing I liked. I like
That
the
was
Yankee
fun.
Stadium.
Dude,
That was
there.
fun.
Okay, there's no way that in New York City, in the modern New York City, that she goes to a Yankee Stadium thing with a hat on, and people are like, "Whoa, what are you?" It's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Maybe Yankee Stadium, maybe bleachers in the Yankee Stadium.
We'll say if it's going to happen.
If it's
that would happen
like it's
more.
not gonna happen in Chelsea
it's-
or like Hell's Kitchen. But
Exactly.
Like,
I will say
maybe
also, it's
in
not
the-
going
maybe
to.
up in the Bronx.
It's not going to happen at Citi Field. I feel like it happened more at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, that's actually Diesel writing.
I mean, yeah,
Carrie's
totally.
signature squeal. Check.
Yeah,
Big.
check.
Sarah Ramirez pump up speech
yes,
in the elevator.
the pussy one.
Yep, we got it.
Step your
Sarah
pussy
Mil-
up.
Yeah, we got it.
Herring
Wow.
with cream cheese. No, I think we can count wearing a helmet in the house as cream cheese.
On the skateboard.
We're getting the rules of this are so broad.
I love
We'll
what they're
get
doing with Charlotte's family.
Yes,
It's going to be really good.
I will say
Each
that
of them
actually-
has, like a daughter.
Yep. Well, and we said at the show, we were like, well, what's going to happen with Charlotte? She's kind of already set up. I kind of feel like they're their own sitcom.
Totally.
Yeah, totally.
Samantha mentioned. Check.
I mean, Samantha, like full 5-minute
Let's talk about that
conversation.
after we're
Yeah, we'll
done
talk
with
about that.
using
After.
using an iPhone.
Check.
Right away.
Right away.
And then the last square that we had before we got audience squares was weed reference.
I mean,
Don't fucking tell me the Bradshaw Boys are not tuned in.
We are
here,
oracles.
hang on. Let me just read
Brad Strodamus over here.
Brad Stradamus. Wait, let me read the audience squares that we added. Hello Lover, that was also in
Yep,
there.
Yes.
Did
That's
we
crazy?
Cosmos? They mentioned Cosmos.
Yeah, they mentioned Cosmos.
Mm-hmm. Did we get did we get shoe shopping? We definitely got shoes. We got the
No,
wedding shoes.
We got her shoe scrolling.
We got okay.
No shopping. Charlotte chops for 2 dresses.
Yeah. And then did we get an I Couldn't Help But Wonder? I don't know.
No.
We didn't. And did we get polyamory? I mean, it might have been in
No.
that.
No.
We didn't.
No.
Okay. So
Carrie hasn't started dating yet.
I feel like we got bingo out of that. We got bingo definitely.
Oh.
That's insane. And this is for the whole season.
that was for the
That was for the
entire
whole season.
series. Yeah.
Listen, we want to respectfully ask. The only thing in there that I feel like you have to trust us that Cory was gonna write Toodle Fingers.
I was going to write Toodle Fingers.
Okay, and you
And
you fucking know we've talked about Toodle Fingers
You
many
know
times on
we
here.
love Toodle Fingers.
If you follow our
I
podcast,
see. I think there was an eye razor too when he was fake masturbating.
I do too. I think that
We
think
need to
we
go
got.
back and get a slow mo.
I think on a technicality we
Dude,
get
could you
we
imagine
get a
if we had
dancing
one of those
eyebrows.
football things where it was just like had a box like a 1940s camera, and Cory had to like go in there.
On
We
the
got eyebrows.
on the review, we get a big eyebrow raise. That's an automatic first down. We got a bingo.
Upon further review, the boys have received a bingo.
Cory Cavin has challenged the eyebrow raise on the field.
We're not going to count a Toodle Fingers, but we are checking the eyebrow raise on the field.
I am Barack Obama, and I am
I know we
the
somehow
just like
got
that
into Obama.
referee.
And just like that, you're tuned into and just like Renegades, Barack Obama's
After
and
further
Sex and the City podcast.
review, there was indeed an eyebrow raise.
And
The Toodle Fingers shall be
Michelle, Michelle, I'm gonna work out on. Now I'm going to the bush.
You fucking know they're watching it.
Oh,
I,
absolutely.
know Michelle is a fan.
Noticed that Big
Absolutely.
likes to ride to Allegra. I also
I
enjoy
also,
an Allegra workout.
Right now, you know that he's looking at
Dude.
Michelle and he's just like,
Michelle, I couldn't help but wonder. But I don't know if they treated Samantha in the most respectful way.
I am going to go ahead and say, if I look into the future, we're going to see Samantha again. I think
Listen,
so.
I know Samantha is coming back. I think
we're
you're
going
right,
to
Kevin.
see
they
Samantha.
they would
There's
not
absolutely.
This is the first. I was shocked and appalled because because the best friend of the series,
Yeah.
they're gonna act like she's not the fucking best friend, and they're like, we haven't talked. She's 100% gonna be
Dude,
in
it's
this.
gonna be
She's going to be in
insane.
it.
100%.
Why would they?
You are so passionate right now.
Because Because at the live show, everyone was booing me, and everyone's like, "No way!" And I'm fucking telling you,
She's gonna be in it.
and the proof is in the pudding. We'll make a $500 bet. Let's see if Vegas has bets to do that.
I already looked. I couldn't. There's an article on Sex and the City bets, but I don't know if they're actually open. But there is an article about betting.
How much
on
would you
this.
realistically put down?
$500.
Of my personal money or our money?
Or of our podcast Patreon
Patreon money, because we don't.
There's only $500. Of my
Put down
personal
all of
money.
it. Put down all. Yeah.
And then what's the return? Like 100 for 100? Like one to
I mean,
one?
I'm sure there's crazy odds right now.
I mean, I would put $150 on it.
Gee.
Would you?
I mean, yeah.
No, but your belief.
I put $3,000 in Bitcoin.
But I think that when you watch this episode, if you're just watching it to enjoy and
With
not
you and some long chips.
and some long chips,
we got
compliments
this.
of Sarah Jessica Parker.
Thank you In Vivo Wines and SJP for the long chips.
But
Tasty long chips.
It's super good.
Yeah,
Go get
look
some
up
Also
long
play
chips.
Angry Birds.
Look up long chips.
But they treated her with disrespect. They treated Samantha the character with disrespect. No.
On this episode?
Yes.
No.
I don't know if they did.
I wouldn't say they disrespected her.
I don't think anyone said. I think they
Would Samantha Jones cut all of them off and not answer any of their texts based on any information that we have on Samantha Jones?
I think
I
if
guess
we never,
Carrie said she was like more than I thought I was more than ATM. That's a pretty disrespectful thing to say.
Yeah, that is true. Okay, so they. Although think about this, going from what we know about Sex and the City, that is a disrespectful thing. I can also absolutely see Carrie making a comment like that about when Samantha was in the show.
Yeah.
I think it's disrespectful if they never speak of Samantha again. I think if they never speak about her again, and then it just ends that it's like,
Is Samantha going to show up to Big's funeral?
oh,
Yes.
dang.
Is Big's funeral in the next one?
It probably has to be, right?
Good Lord.
Fuck,
Dude, if that happened.
Dude.
I'm
Okay,
saying. I think that
Watch the next episode.
so juiced.
Why do we have to do this podcast in between episodes?
I know.
Yeah, fuck this podcast. Fuck you guys.
Dude,
you
why
guys
can't-
just get to binge. We have work to do.
I know. You just like took our favorite show from us. Yeah. We chose to do this.
I just think that Kim Cattrall, not Samantha, I think Kim Cattrall will be in this series.
What if she's just the background person?
Oh, I hope what if they only hire us back on? That'd be amazing.
I mean, what if she
Did
what if
she-
she shows up with Len Schneider on her
Oh
side?
my gosh.
my
Didn't she go to funerals to fuck people? Was she like Chaz from Wedding Crashers?
No, that was
Someone picks up a guy.
Charlotte did,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Oh no,
never know what
Charlotte
she's
dates,
doing
no,
back there.
Charlotte
Or
dates
Miranda
a
did?
guy who goes to visit his dead wife's grave
Yeah.
to pick up guys.
Okay,
But
I
didn't
was
didn't
just
Samantha-
mixing up
did
with,
Samantha meet
Wedding
someone
Crashers.
at that?
I think so.
There's a wedding. There's the wedding.
Grief
of the,
is nature's ultimate aphrodisiac.
There's the wedding. Yeah. There's the funeral of the.
they say that, right?
Maybe.
That's from Wedding Crashers.
Oh, that's
Oh,
funny.
there you go. There's the funeral of the fashion guy that they all dress up to go to.
Yeah.
Listen, we've been pretty positive so far.
Yeah.
But I will say those are my only complaints with the episode.
Yeah.
That I knew that they would clunkily tackle wokeness to try and and they did do that. And in a way, I'm like, I knew you were gonna do it, and like it was cute and fun on the way watching you guys try to do that.
It was a pile on too. It was like kind
Woke
of everything in one.
'Cause
They
she
have a
misgendered
button
her,
that says-
right?
She what?
When she walked in,
She misgendered one of the students.
Yeah, she said.
he
she
told
said
me.
He said, yeah, and she goes, "Oh wow, someone's quick with the pronouns."
it was just like a few quick hits of just like,
But-
the world has changed so
Yeah.
quickly.
I was
know,
like stepping
they're-
into a boxing ring with Mike Tyson. It was just like, it was like you're brave for going in there, but it's not going to end well.
Yeah.
Dude, it would be so funny for.
I'll take some more of that SJP wine.
In Vivo Rosé.
Vivo Rosé all day. Thank you.
This honestly isn't sponsored by them. They just sent us this.
no.
Yeah, they sent it.
And it's
Yeah.
fucking cool that they did. So
yeah.
it's very good.
Let's talk about Charlotte and Harry and Lily and Rose.
Rose. Yeah.
Rose.
Okay, let's talk about that because I feel like y'all feel better about that than I do.
Ooh, I know. I think it's gonna be a good. There's gonna be like some good drama that comes from it.
I feel better about it now that we're talking about it. I felt like, well, okay. There's one thing I want to talk about this after this, which is where I think it's an interesting like character structure thing in the show. Let's talk about Charlotte and Charlotte's family.
Well, I think it's interesting because Charlotte has
It all.
she has it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
She has her husband that she loves. She has
her adopted child.
her adopted child who's awesome and brilliant at piano. She has another child that she is naturally hers.
She has a black friend.
She has a black friend now,
Who people just call Black Her.
whose husband was George Washington Hamilton.
Yeah, exactly.
My
It's
dick is upside down.
My dick
Dude,
is
what
up.
if he stood up and just started singing that?
Dude, we've
Exact
got
lyrics.
What if we could get him on the podcast and have him sing "My Dick Is Upside Down"?
You're like, so what is this again? Be like, so we were drunk in Atlantic City.
And then we show him the picture.
So, real quick, it's also cool that he wasn't just he was just like, he's like, I need to get drunk. I'm disappointed in my son.
Dude, it was so funny.
that was the
I
most natural, true dad reaction.
Yeah, I loved it. So I just love that there's going to be good conflict. Like she has a daughter that does not fit into her mold,
Right.
And there's no way for her to get out of that. It's not like it's a Trey or a boyfriend. It's not like she can change religions. It's not like she just is going to have to confront that. And I think it's just like interesting how they've already done that with her style and not wanting to wear the dress and then like wearing the dress with a tuxedo shirt over the top.
Yep.
I just like that that's in Charlotte's life because Charlotte wants to control everything and she can't control this.
When you put it like that, they've set the table for a lot of stuff. I felt like seeing, I mean, I love cream cheese poppy, but seeing Harry come through and it was just like the like you better not be touching the wall. I'm not. I'm
skateboarding.
Like, there was and like I'm a skating dad, and then like there was a lot of.
You're just upset because you're a skateboarder.
Yeah,
and he
like-
didn't do the proper ollie.
I mean, yeah, bro.
Also, do Jewish people refer to themselves as Jews as much as he does?
58-year-old Jews.
In
Like
real
you
life,
said.
I don't think Jews are like, oh, look, I'm a Jew.
like every single time he does something,
I'm a
he's
Jew.
like a Jew
Here's
and
the thing.
a
I
Jew
would-
with a helmet.
Here's the thing. I would
a
text.
Jew with a T-shirt.
I would text one of my Jewish friends, but it'd be like they would just be like, "What?
What?
Why are you asking me that?"
Yeah.
Yo,
It's
quick
very
question.
insensitive. Yo,
Quick
you wanna
question.
call
When
yourself
you
Jew?
wear a bike helmet, do you announce to the room that you're a Jew in a bike helmet?
Yeah, I do. That's why. But it's funny when I do it because I'm not a
Yeah,
Jew.
exactly.
Although
No,
I am converting.
Oh,
And it's only a half joke.
next episode.
I'm so fucking ready.
You're Charlotte. No, I guess I just felt like I see it working now. I think in that one scene where it was like, we rescued the dog. Well, Mom, you rescued me. I'm on a skateboard. I don't want to wear the dress.
Yeah.
It felt very much like Hallmark movie. And it was a little...
Come on, Rose, wear the dress. It's
Yeah,
important
exactly.
to your mom.
Well, but I mean, there's some of Sex in the City in that. But
Isn't
I
that
feel like
kind
they've
of-
set the table.
Isn't that kind of interesting though? Not about. That's kind of interesting about like Hollywood type because what is Kristen Davis's biggest breadwinner now is Hallmark movies.
Yeah, exactly. No,
because
you're right.
of the
Good
type
point.
that was created through Charlotte.
Yeah.
And I see what you mean.
But you're right, because before that she was on Melrose Place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people are tuning into Holiday in the Jungle or whatever
In
it's
the
called.
wild.
Holiday.
People are tuning into Tropic Holiday.
Tropic Holiday.
Tropic
Dude,
Holiday.
if we
Thunder.
ever get another one of them on the pod, we just have to we have to hammer about how much they ripped on pods on the show.
Yeah.
Oh god, they
You're
ripped
like,
on podcasts.
oh,
so
interesting. Are you enjoying yourself?
Oh, look who's on the pod now.
hard. It's like you would never do one. Oh, actually, this is your second time on the pod.
Oh, I couldn't help but
Oh.
wonder why the fuck you threw us under the bus. And just like that, you're banned from the podcast.
Not you, SJP. Since one.
Thank you for the wine.
Thank you for the one
And the long chips.
and the long
Yeah.
chips.
Not
Never
you.
heard of long chips
Listen.
until tonight.
If you don't know what a long chip is, and by the way, I just want to point out we're talking about snacks.
And welcome to And Just Like Snacks.
And just like snacks.
Yeah,
Oh
can I
my
have-
gosh, that's gonna be. We have to do the new Steve talk. Isn't just like snacks. That's it. Just imagine a
Can I
chip
get
that's
one of
very
those
long.
cold French fries?
Can I get one? As long as they're still greasy.
greasy.
I guess they're. Well, hold
Oh,
on.
wait, continue talking about. Corey is talking about long chips.
No, okay, so long chips, and then I have a point about the show. If you've never had a long chip,
We might need to sit with the long chips for a while.
Sure. So if you've never had a long chip, imagine a Pringle. Now you imagine a Pringle.
With
it's
a
like
boner.
That's what it is. It's a Pringle with a huge boner. It's just a very long Pringle. It's like a Pringle that's like a bent up plank of wood.
Yeah.
And it's
It's literally like 8 inches long.
Yeah.
It is funny because it's like it is in really like fancy artisanal packaging, but it's like I tasted it. I was like, oh, I fucking love Pringles.
I love Pringles.
Dude, Pringles are so good. Wait, no.
Oh god.
Oh, here's the one thing I'm gonna say, and this is like a stylistic show thing, but I think it's interesting they're doing this. Okay, so they're at the fancy Manhattan lunch, and then Carrie and Charlotte leave, and then they stay on LTW or whatever.
Lisa, I think.
Yeah. Lisa. They
Lacey.
stay on Lisa, and which they're with Charlotte, but they stay on Lisa and they stay on her storyline, but it's a little more of a Lisa focused storyline, and then they
do the same thing with the professor.
do the same thing with the professor,
Yeah.
and they have professor talking to her husband about
IVF.
IVF. And then, so what I noticed is I was like, they're leading with following these other characters that they're, I'm guessing, going to bring them more into the world, maybe as the next Samantha. But it's interesting because in the old show, it would, and also the other thing I noticed, no voiceover.
Yeah.
So in the old show, it would be like, while Miranda was busy gathering herself about her most recent fumble, like
Charlotte was struggling to get Rose into her dress.
exactly, and it's like, or it, like we would have gotten into the subway platform scene by seeing Miranda and hearing a Carrie voiceover, and then seeing the professor walk down the stairs. Instead, we find out all this stuff about this random side character's life.
Show not tell, man.
Yeah, with IVF, with IVF discussion. But the other thing is, I'm like, oh, maybe it's because those people are going to be part of the show now.
Well, and also that is, I guess this is props to them, because in that respect, it's not a half-hearted attempt to say like Jennifer Hudson's so great, so obviously she made something out of that role, but it was like it was not totally three-dimensional, and this was at least a very forward attempt to be like, no, she doesn't just talk about her husband. Here's her husband. They're talking about real things. They're in their seats now with their actual kid, adding more than just what they have to do with others' lives, and that's how you make good characters.
Right.
And so, yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, with that, it'll be interesting what they do with Sarah Ramirez's character, because she didn't really get that moment, because sometimes it's like, if I was queer, or if I was black or something, I would. I have a thing now when I watch anything when there's black characters. I'm like, black characters should be able to be not just have to talk about race all the time.
Yeah.
I hated the movie Antebellum because I was like, you know what? I would hate to go out and be like, cool, a diverse movie that's about slavery again. Well, and that's where I think hopefully her whole character isn't just like, hey, I want to take all of you straight white women and men, we're the men, on a little tour of what gender is, because there's places you can do that is more interesting than Sex in the City.
I mean, that's where we get to, and we've talked about it on this podcast, when we talk about The Wire, for instance. You get Kima, who is a gay black detective, and you see her relationship struggles, and also her relationship struggles are they're not just this is what a gay person. It's just Kima's spoiler. We said there'd be spoilers, but she's cheating on her girlfriend, and then also you just see her work life, and they never talk about any identity stuff.
Yeah.
So it's you're right. That does create for deeper characters, and you could do both.
Yeah.
So I hope they do that with all those new characters that seem like it was more just played for identity, I guess.
Because you can tell in your soul when you're being entertained, or following an entertainment involves complex characters, or when you're being taught. And there's places to learn about sex and race and gender, and your main place to do that should not be, as much as Sex and the City opened doors, it has to stem from good, real characters, real human beings that exist. And I don't necessarily, that's where it's like, the best thing is just like, yeah, that your podcast sucks. Not anything wrong with the character, that it's like, I don't think people watch that and are like, I need to listen to that podcast. And I don't know what that podcast would be based on. So hopefully they do more with her character in her personal life. And I have high hopes for that, because I do think what you're saying is true about the black characters, that they're already have more potential than other characters they've had.
Yeah.
You know how there's like a trend in TV shows now to do one episode where they just follow one like side character?
Yeah.
Like they did that in Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
Who do you think they would do out of this if they were going to just be like, we're going to follow
Brady.
Dude,
Be
how
Brady.
amazing it'd be if it was Brady.
Condom
Brady's
bus. And then it's just him being like, which one's the day after pill? And they're like, that's ibuprofen. And
Yeah.
then, like, he's like, I don't know.
He needs to borrow Steve's ear microphones. What are they called?
Hearing aids.
No, they're called ear
Yeah,
microphones.
they're called microphones.
Hearing aids.
All right.
All right. Where else?
We haven't talked about Carrie. We haven't talked about Carrie and Big.
I got it.
And Peloton. How much did Peloton pay?
Peloton had to pay so much money.
How much?
I'm
A
gonna
lot. A lot more than you could win in Vegas.
I'm gonna do everything that I can with our Instagram account to make that money not have been well spent by creating an ad campaign through the Bradshaw Boys that's just Peloton kills. We just keep on making posts that Peloton kills people, and we just try and get like sued by them. To be like, Peloton is literally murdering beloved characters. There's spoilers for 2. Don't do it.
No, I'm only on this one episode.
Okay.
I will say one thing we saw Bitsy Von Muffling. First scene.
I know.
Bitsy Von Muffling.
Is that Nathan Lane's wife?
It's
I don't know who
yes,
Bitsy
it's Bitsy. Yes, it's she's the woman that marries. I think she's the one that marries Nathan Lane.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Good.
That's
good
fun.
call. It's in I Love a Charade.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I do.
Okay, so I'm trying. The reason I am on, and I'm not looking up spoilers. The reason I'm here is I'm trying to look up who the Peloton instructor was.
They had did you guys pick up on the who is it?
Character name.
The
one who calls out Miranda for saying like, wow, someone's quick with the pronouns. That character's name was just Z.
Z.
Just the letter Z.
I'm okay with that. Did you guys check out the pre-heart attack signs that were in the episode?
Let's just talk about it.
Yeah, Cory.
First one was the salt. Him being like, that's a little bit too much.
Oh,
a bit too much salt there.
Too much salt.
Or that's enough salt. Yeah.
Yeah, it's enough salt. Also, just the Peloton.
The Peloton, yeah.
The Peloton, she says, oh, I thought you were going to reach for your
nitroglycerin
pill, which is like
that's
a heart attack pill. Were there other ones?
I think it's just those two.
She says, the weekly cigar.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
Kind of crazy that he dies with a weekly cigar, but Carrie's like a 20-year smoker.
Yeah.
And she's fine.
I mean, yeah, those are the 3, and then the Peloton was a setup.
Yeah.
I do wonder, and then what's interesting about that is like once we called it, and then once he got on the Peloton and the music was there, I was like, oh yeah. But
It's also, I want to just say, just because I'm thinking about this, they did mention that she still has her old apartment, so she could be back in that old apartment too, because she gives the key to Stanford.
Yeah, because Stanny wants to go stay there because he's in a fight with Anthony.
Wow.
She's definitely going to get out of their penthouse and go.
Yeah,
to
because she
apartment.
can't be in that.
No.
And they filmed down there.
Yeah.
filmed on
smart.
their bunch.
I will say that it's definitely a device, but just that one thing of like, I need the key to your old apartment. That is a smart thing to be like, we've got to get back to our home base.
Yeah.
Like that's a way to get there in this episode. That is not just like next episode. She's like, I'm glad we kept the old apartment.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just
that
a
was,
way to
that was
like,
good.
move that into there.
I mean, what do you guys? I mean, in a way, it's the killing off of one of the iconic characters in American television history. And in another way, when you realize, like, I mean, this is so depressing, but it's like, yeah, like, once you fall in love, I don't know. It's like Johnny Cash.
I feel like I know what you're gonna say, and I kind of want to go for it.
Well, it's just sad that it's like, I don't know. Life is sad, and whenever there's happy endings with characters, and you can check on them later, like, people die. It's I guess I am saying props to them for doing the hard thing and swinging for the fences to make it an interesting television show, because it's not outside the bounds of reality.
No, not at all.
Not at
for
all.
Big to die.
No.
Well, I was gonna say the more depressing version of that, which I think is what you're saying, is like every happy marriage or relationship ends in death.
Oof.
I mean, like that's the truest thing of life. Is
I
like
mean, Roseanne Cash died, and like a week later, Johnny Cash died.
Yeah.
He was like just desperately in love with her his whole
Carrie
life.
gonna die in the next episode.
That'd be awesome.
What if they do that and the rest of the thing is about Brady?
It's just George Washington singing, "My dick is upside."
Babe, you gotta stop singing. It's just him teaching his son to play that on the piano.
Come here, go play.
Come here, buddy. Come here.
I mean, I think
Stop moving your bench so fucking much.
this is what I
My
would.
dick is upside down.
I said my dick is upside down.
I think, I do think this. We're watching television. We're watching like almost like a modern Casablanca type thing. Have you guys seen Casablanca?
No.
Actually, I never have. We should watch
It's
that.
fucking crazy how good it is. 1941. Like it
Sure.
just
Oh,
holds
totally.
up as like the most romantic, beautiful movie, and it's like unrequited love type shit.
Yeah.
And but
Frankly,
it's such,
my dear, I don't give a Casablanca, right? Isn't that
yeah,
the one?
frankly, my dear, I don't give a Casablanca.
That's what it is. Yeah.
But there is something that with modern storytelling, it has to be so natural that sometimes it's easier to see old actors that are like 40, but they look 70, you know,
Yeah.
like Humphrey Bogart, and it's black and white so that you can go into the full romance. And I will say that it didn't seem realistic, but it was a beautiful ending that it's like he had to see her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is like one of those things that it's like, man, if she came home and he was dead, it'd be like, and that was kind of like a Carrie and Big moment that it's like, I don't know. I bet they'll talk about it in the next thing.
Yeah.
Because it was like, I don't know. That is something that is like truer than maybe is realistic, but it's like what needed to happen based to honor their
It also like
relationship.
makes knowing that Natasha is in it more interesting. It makes knowing that Aiden's in it more interesting.
Yes.
Like it's not going to be the same run like old. She's not going to like go kiss Aiden again and like have to come back and tell it to Big. She's like, he's gone.
I mean, I know some things that I have seen. I'm now putting.
Shut your mouth. Shut your face.
Here's what I'm going to say, and it will be very vague. I'm just going to say, from seeing social media things that have gone around and seeing things in the episode, I'm starting to put puzzle pieces together in my head where I'm like, oh, maybe this will happen. That's all I'm saying. Like, there's certain things that I saw that I was like, well, now that we know, because we were like, well, I mean, once the signs started happening, it was, I mean, we said it 3 times during the episode. I was like, Big's going to die. Big's going to die.
Oh, it's so crazy.
It's so crazy.
He's gone.
We've got to get him on. Chris Noth, you're
Noth.
not listening, but if you know Chris Noth,
We got to get Noth on.
Noth has
Have to.
commented on the Instagram.
I have his address.
Let's
His
go
physical
to his
address
house.
or
right
You know
email
now.
how I have his address?
You have his physical address?
Yes, I have his physical
Don't
address.
say that.
I'm not going to say it. I have his.
No, don't say that we have it.
I will say that we have it because he posted it to his Instagram.
Oh.
And then I screenshot it, and it was his tax information.
Oh, that's right.
And
I
it was
forgot
just
about that.
all of the comments were like, Chris, no.
Oh.
And like 3 minutes later, it was gone. And I screenshot it.
Didn't we meet someone the other night that dated him?
Yeah. At
Yeah.
Candace Bushnell's show.
Oh yeah. That's
Although
right.
I don't trust a word that woman said. She
Yeah,
tried to
she
kick
was
me in the
annoying.
face
Oh, that
just to
was the
show
one-
how
that was the
high
one-
she could kick.
We'll put up Chris Noth's address.
We'll put up Chris Noth's address.
No, the only reason I would say that is because is because you know.
This is what I'll
posted
say.
it.
This is what I'll say. Okay, so there were things that happened. You know, we've already talked about the moments that we were like, this felt too forced. You know, lighting up a weed pipe in an elevator, like all those things. And there were moments that we've talked about where we were like, man, I hope this tracks. But I will say this, even though I knew it was going to happen, I am watching I'm watching the piano recital, and I'm already there was even a you know, like in a movie when someone does a really powerful speech and they just play the music and you don't hear the speech because it's better if you imagine it in your head. There's a little bit where I was watching Big die and I'm like, oh, I kind of thought it'd be better if you see him touch his arm and then you see nothing else until Carrie walks in the door. And I was like, maybe they're overplaying this. And then when she did walk in the door and you see, and you're like, oh, she's wearing the wedding shoes. And then he looks up and then John, you were like, he's not dead yet. Like I'm literal chills because I'm like, that is, as much as people have been like Team Big, Team Aiden, and they're like, Carrie and Big are terrible for each other. I'm like, that is the end to a story where they were meant to be. And then you watch that end, and then you watched it like play out, like with her holding him. And it was really like,
and the
chills.
shoes like getting soaked.
Yeah, the shoes getting soaked. Like I thought it was played really well, and it was really sad.
I agree. You know what we have to do?
What's that?
Cosmo rating.
Oh, Jon Sieber.
Cosmo rating, boys.
Is it still a Cosmo rating? Did we change it all, or is it still Cosmo rating?
We're back to new episodes. This is unseen territory. We gotta go Cosmo rating.
I also feel like, I mean, we're back to where we were when we started this. Are we our same selves? Are we different now? Who knows?
I'm sleep training my son. I'm a little bit different.
We're definitely all different, and let's do the Cosmo ratings.
Same time.
I would get it in our heads and not do the same time and just have our.
Okay, hang on. Let's get it.
I know what I'm saying. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
5 Cosmos.
Yep.
I'm 5 across the board. I loved tonight. Like, yeah, there were some areas that were like a little cringe and a little eye roll. I don't give a shit. This was so fun. This was so awesome. Like, we're worked up. We're excited. We can't wait to see the next episode. Fucking perfect. Perfect night.
Wow.
Can't take that away from me.
You want to know what's true?
What?
Is that you are who you are in your life, and like you can grow and change, but sometimes you are who you are. I was 1000% 5 Cosmos. I was like, you know what? No, I'm a new person. I'm 5 Cosmos. And then when you were like, let's get it in our heads, I was like, nope, 475. And here's so 5 Cosmos because like we're back.
Yeah.
It feels so good.
That's the point of Sex and the City.
I had literal chills. And then I was like, if I'm going to be critical about it, 475 because
Fuck that.
It's a critical thing.
Get rid of that. Let Kevin do that shit. You be a 5 Cosbro with me.
I'll be a 5 Cosbro with you.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Here's what I'm gonna do.
I'm gonna ruin the podcast by being a bitch about how I don't like this.
I'm gonna go 4 Cosmos, and here's why. Because
I want to break a long chip over your head.
Because the hardest thing that they had to do, is get past some major barriers that we talked about for the past year.
Mm-hmm.
And what Michael Patrick King, obviously everyone can act. Everyone is like bring their A game. New York is there, all the stuff. The hardest thing was like diversity, sexuality, COVID, all of those things.
Samantha.
And I do think kind of like a very shrewd thing they did is realize like just come in like a sniper and just be like, boop, boop, like just clearing the deck. We're going to watch the second episode. And that's a really, really hard thing to do. So I'm giving 4 Cosmos because I do think that watching the way that they navigate that and then make everybody human beings, complex, interesting characters, the stage is set for a lot of success over the next few episodes.
I agree.
I will give the experience of doing this after starting this podcast like 4 years ago.
5 Cosbros.
5 Cosmos.
10 Cosmos.
10 Cosmos.
I'll say this.
So fun.
I'll say this.
It was truly. This is one of the most thrilling podcasts we've ever done.
It was amazing. I'll say this because I feel like I can say this. We were really nervous. Do you think it was better, worse, or the same than you thought it was going to be?
Better.
It was better than I thought.
Better.
Way
better.
Way better. Way exceeded expectations. I think.
Yeah.
So good.
It was better than I thought it'd be.
I thought it was better, and I thought it was better. I thought it was better, and I still have criticisms.
I'm Team Carrie. I'm Team Carrie now.
We have changed.
Woo! All right. We love you all. Thank you so much for listening. We cannot wait for this journey with you all.
We're back.
Listen, this I don't know if more or less people are going to listen to this, but maybe more because we're probably have the biggest following, and I don't know how many podcasts are covering this. If you're new to the podcast, please rate and review us. We have a Patreon. We've been doing this for years on our own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we
Kevin's
just
about to blow all the Patreon money we've squirreled away on whether or not Samantha's coming back.
On Vegas odds.
But whatever. Yeah. If you enjoy this, like we're doing our best, and we've been at this for years. We're just thrilled to have like a small little audience, and so tell your friends. We'll do as much as we can to entertain you and give the best commentary we can on And Just Like That and Sex in the City, as some cis hets.
Yes. Also, follow our Instagram. Get in touch with us. We're very active. And if you know Che Diaz, get us in touch.
If you know Che Diaz, get us in touch.
If you know Noth.
And if you're a married woman, do yourself a favor, and before you lose your spouse, make sure you get him to jerk off in front of you to climax.
Great scene.
All right.
Later, taters.
Later, taters.
The Bradshaw Boys stars Cory Cavin, Jon Sieber, and Kevin James Doyle. The show is produced by Jeremy L. Balon. For more information on the guys, check out their website at bradshawboys.com, on social media at The Bradshaw Boys, and if you see them in the street, tip your glass. Thanks for listening.